So, dear students, there is a technical issue again. Dear student, a very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the Industrial Pharmacy First. So, dear student, in yesterday's lecture, we had gone through the left defects which are associated with the coatings of the tablet. So, what we had covered? We had covered yesterday the picking, pitting, blooming, blushing, color variation, infilling, orange peel. Along with that, we have started the evaluation process of the tablets, right? So, the tablet, in order to get the desired properties, in order to be have a safe, stable and effective formulation, we need to go for the quality control test, and these quality control tests that will be performed by the QC department. While studying that one, we saw that there are different types of tests which are said to be the official and the unofficial test. So what is the official test? Yes, anyone? What is the official test? Please tell me. Okay, very correct. Official test, that means these are those tests which are mentioned into the, yes, these are mentioned into the, right, into the official books, into the pharmacopoeias. So what are the different official tests that are to be performed onto the tablets? Dissolution, content uniformity, that is the wet variation, disintegration, isn't it? Right. Now what are the unofficial tests? Mechanical strength, tablet shape, size, thickness, average weight. In case of mechanical strength, it is the tensile strength, which is said to be the hardness and the friability. Now as far as the dissolution is concerned, we saw the definition in our yesterday's lecture. Dissolution, what it is? It is defined what? In how way? Yes, dissolution is defined as the process by which a known amount of drug substance that will goes into solution per unit time under standardized condition. This is most important. The verbatim definition, word by word definition of dissolution is necessary to be remembered by the student. It is the process by which a known amount of drug substance, what it will goes, it is the drug substance that will goes into the solution. How much drug that will goes into solution in the given period of time into the standardized conditions, isn't it? That is the pH condition, that is the temperature, isn't it? All these are said to be the standardized conditions. So again, this we saw that why it is to be performed, because to characterize the biopharmaceutical quality of a product at different stages in the life cycle. Also to choose between the different alternative formulations for the process of development. So dissolution testing is an official test. What the dissolution is? It is an official test. It is recommended by all pharmacopoeias for evaluating drug release of solid and semi-solid dosage form. The dissolution that is to be performed onto the solid dosage form and onto the semi-solid dosage forms. You can see what will happen during the process of dissolution. Let us say, for example, this is the drug. Now this is the process by which the drug that will goes into the solution, that will get dissolved, and once it will get dissolved, its permeability by the biological membrane that will determine the permeation rate, and then it will get absorbed into the biological system. So the concept of dissolution that can be understood by the two-step processes. The step 1 and step 2. The step 1, it is associated with what? The molecules that will get released from the dosage form to the media, creating a saturated layer or stagnant layer adjacent to the solid surface. So while studying the theories of dissolution, we understood, we saw all these. There is a packets, isn't it? There is a continuous surface renewal theory. Now, how it will happen, when it will happen, when the drug that will goes into the solution, and this process, that is this step one, that is the molecules that will get released from the dosage form and they will goes into the media in order to form a saturated and this stagnant layer. While it is followed by the step 2. Step 2 consists of drug diffusion as per concentration gradient. This means what? It will depend on to the concentration. That means until we will be getting the equilibrium stage. That means the passage of molecules from higher concentration to that of the lower concentration. Simple like a diffusion, right? So that is the diffusion and its concept. Okay. Next, you can see this is the particular diagram that is showing the dissolution test apparatus as per Indian Pharmacopoeia. This is the paddle type of apparatus and this is the basket type of apparatus. You can see this is the paddle type which is said to be the type 1 and this is the basket type which is said to be the type 2. You need to understand, you need to thorough with all these dimensions, all these parameters, what will be the length, what will be the thickness, what will be the diameter, everything. And all these dimensions, these are into the millimeter. As far as this basket is concerned, what is the length, what is the width, what is the size of this particular mesh, because these are going to be asked into the GPAT examinations and you need to go for drawing these diagrams several times, then and then you will going to become thorough with all these. Now this is as far as the IP is concerned. So in case of IP, type 1 is the paddle type, whereas in case of USP the type 1 is the basket type, right? In case of IP the type 2 is the basket type. In case of USP the type 2 is the paddle type, isn't it? It is the reverse one. The same thing has been given here. We had already gone through this before while studying the pre-formulation and all. So this is as far as the USP is concerned, the type 1, type 2, that is the basket one, and this is the type 2 is the paddle one, as already I explained it to you, which is used for the oral immediate release and the modified release tablets. Now, as far as USP is concerned, the dissolution test, that is for dissolution of the pharmacopoeias, which is specified in case of pharmacopoeias. The test, that is as per the specification which are given into the pharmacopoeia. So what the specifications are given into the pharmacopoeia: the dissolution test, medium, its volume, the type of apparatus to be used, the revolutions that is to be maintained of the shaft, RPM, revolution per minute, the time limit of the test, for how long duration the test need to be performed, and the procedure which is to be performed as far as the assay is concerned. Now the practical approach that will consist of, now what to do during the process of dissolution. First you need to go for preparation of the calibration curve of the pure API substance. You need to go for preparation of the calibration curve. Then you need to determine the calibration curve equation, then refer the monograph in the pharmacopoeia and choose the apparatus, media, volume, RPM and the steady time. Then preheat the apparatus and media, set the RPM. See, all these details that are given into the official books. That is how to go with the preparation of the calibration curve, then how to determine the equation. All these specifications are given into the official book and all the instructions given into the official book that need to be followed. Preheat. Preheat refers to what? There is need to maintain the proper temperature. So the temperature which is required, let's say for example 37 degree plus or minus 2 degrees Celsius or plus or minus 0.2 degrees Celsius, isn't it? So that should be already set. That should be already attained. After that, we need to go for the process of dissolution. It is not like that you have to add the tablet and then you have to start heating. No, it is not like that. It should be preheated one. That means the 37 or the required temperature that already set, isn't it? Are you getting my point? So this is the, you can see that the particular picture which is shown for the dissolution test apparatus. We will go through a small video which will explain how the process that is to be carried out.
Put one tablet in the dissolution media in the jar and withdraw the sample at the set time intervals as per the monograph or requirement of the study. Replace the pre-warmed same volume of media in the jar for longer studies. It means if you have removed 2 ml of sample from the jar, you will have to replace the same volume of fresh pre-warmed media to the jar again.
So here you saw that how particularly the assembly that will works, that how the paddles they will comes down, the left one which was shown in the particular, again I will run that one in order to understand. There was a paddle type and there was a basket type of apparatus.
Put one tablet in the dissolution media in the jar and withdraw the
Some issues are there.
Put one tablet in the dissolution media in the jar and withdraw the sample at the set time intervals as per the monograph or requirement of.
So this is the particular paddle which is coming down, and this is the basket type of apparatus. This is the basket, and inside this basket the tablet is placed.
The study. Replace the pre-warmed same volume of media in the jar for longer studies. It means if you have removed 2 ml of sample from the jar, you will have to replace the same volume of fresh pre-warmed media.
You can see this one is the paddle type of apparatus. It is going to be rotating, and as it will goes on rotating, you can see the tablet that will undergoes the process of disintegration, and it will going into the solution.
To the jar again for continuing the study, so that the drug gets the same volume of media for dissolution. Then filter, dilute the sample and analyze. Lastly, determine the drug release and check with the acceptance criteria.
Now the drug release that can be determined with the help of the spectroscopic methods, that we have to go for taking out the samples, we have to load it into the cuvettes, and then we have to see the absorptions and all. So with the help of the values of the absorptions, we can go for determining that how much amount of drug that will get released. And for every drug, for every API, there is a specific absorbance value. From that absorbance value, we will going to come to know that how much it will get absorbed. Now, there is a acceptance criteria. There are 3-stage acceptance criteria, as you can see onto the slide. So there are 3 different stages. First is said to be the S1, second is said to be the S2, and third one is said to be the S3. Now serially we have to go for performing all these. If first will fail, we need to go for additional number of tablet, and if second will fail, subsequently we have to go for the third, that is the S2 and the S3 respectively. Now the S1 that will consist of selecting the 6 tablets. These has to be placed into the apparatus, and each unit is not less than Q, that is plus 5%. So what is the Q? Q, that is nothing but the amount of dissolved active ingredient. Now if this criteria is not met, then again we have to go for the S2 criteria, S2. So that is again numbers that will be tested 6 times. So average of 12 units that is to be performed, that is S1 plus S2, and is equal to or greater than Q. and is no less than Q minus 15%. So whatever the amount of dissolved active ingredient is there, minus 15%. If this is the criteria met, then we can say that it will passes. If it will fail, we have to go for the S3 criteria. S3 criteria determines the testing for additional 12 numbers. So average of 12 plus 6 plus 6, that is total 24 units, and S1 plus S2 plus S3, 6 plus 6 plus 10, which will gives you 24 units, that is equal to or greater than Q, that is the dissolved active ingredient, which is not more than 2 unit or less than Q minus 15%, and no unit is less than Q minus 25%. That means the value that should remain between this 15% and 25%. That's it. Then we can say that it will passes the particular dissolution test. So here the graphical representation has been shown against the time versus the cumulative drug release pattern. Now this is the most common graphical representation. Sometimes we need to show the percentage cumulative drug release and the time, which is shown into the left side. This is the percentage drug release versus time, first one. Sometimes we have to go with the log percentage drug remaining versus time. Sometimes percentage cumulative drug release versus the square root of time, which is said to be the Higouchi model or the Higouchi plot. And sometimes we have to represent it as a, or we can represent it as a log percent CDR versus log time, which is said to be the Korsmeyer-Pepaz model. So, however, this will be the most common one, that is the time versus the percentage drug release model. So that is the dissolution. Coming toward the next test, that is said to be the weight variation test. Weight variation test, this is official in USP as well as the IP. So this is to be performed in order to ensure for batch to batch uniformity, and it is applicable when the tablet contains 50 milligram or more of the drug. You need to understand it is the drug. 50 milligram is the drug. It is not the weight of the tablet. It is the quantity of the drug. Weigh individually. In order to perform this, what we need to do, we have to weigh individually the 20 selected units at random and calculate the average weight. And this average weight, that is to be checked with that of the individual weight. Not more than 2 of the individual weight deviate from the average weight by more than the prescribed percentage, and none deviate by more than twice that the percentage. So we need to go for with the 20 tablet, and out of 20 tablet, random 20 tablet, the 2 tablet, not more than 2 tablet. That means if 2 tablet they will goes beyond the limit, it's okay, but not more than, not 3, not 4, like that. Then we can say that it will passes the test. Now in order to pass, they need to meet certain criteria. Now this is the acceptance criteria which is prescribed by IPBP and the USB. The criteria which is there onto the left hand side, that is associated with the IPBP, which is officially in IPBP, whereas the criteria which is shown onto the right hand side, that is applicable, that is as per the USB. So the limits has been given, the permissible limits. Now let's say for example, if the average weight of tablet, now note this is the average weight of tablet, this is not the weight of the drug. Are you getting my point? In previous slide here we saw it is the weight of the drug. If the 50 milligram or more is the weight of the drug, then we have to go with the weight variation test. And for such tablets, if the tablet weight, that is 80 milligram or less, it is the given, or it is the criteria, or it is the weight which is given by IP and BP, British Pharmacopoeia and the Indian Pharmacopoeias. If it is 80 milligram or less, the acceptance limit is the 10% variation, 10% weight variation, that is acceptable. If the weight of tablet is more than 80 milligram and if it is less than 250 milligram, the weight deviation variation acceptance criteria is 7.5%. Whereas if the weight of tablet is more than 250 milligram, then the weight variation acceptance criteria is the 5%. This is as far as IP and BP is concerned. Whereas as far as USP is concerned, the criteria is same, that is the limit that will remain same, but the tablet weight that will goes on varying. Here it is 130 milligram or less. If it is, then plus or minus 10% deviation is the acceptance criteria. If the weight is between 130 milligram to 334 milligram, then the weight variation acceptance criteria is plus or minus 7.5%. If it is more than 324 milligram, then the weight variation percentage criteria acceptance is the plus or minus 5%. So 10%, 7.5% and 5%. For IPBP, 80 milligram or less. For USP, 130 milligram or less. The acceptance criteria is plus or minus 10%. IP 80 to 250, USP 130 to 334, it is 7.5%. IPBP if it is more than 250 milligram, USP if it is more than 324 milligram, the percentage acceptance criteria that is plus or minus 5%. Again, this is most important from the GPAT point of view. Content uniformity. Again, this is the another test which is officially performed onto the tablet. For all coated and uncoated tablet, all capsules intended for oral administration with the size range of dosage form between the 50 milligram or smaller sizes. The tablet monograph with a content uniformity requirement do not have weight variation requirements. Now here the acceptance criteria as far as IP and USP is concerned, we need to take the 30 tablets, we need to select the 30 tablets and 10 tablets are assayed individually. At least 9 must assay with plus or minus 15% of the declared potency and none may exceed the 25% of the declared potency. That means what? If one that will crosses beyond this limit, that is the plus or minus 15%, and if it will remain within the plus or minus 25%, then we can accept it. If 2 or 3 of the individual tablet, these are outside of the limit, plus or minus 15% of the average value, and none is outside the limit of 25%, then we have to repeat the test using the another 20 tablets. Now, in this case, the tablet comply with the test if in the total sample of 30 tablet, not more than 3. That means if the 3 tablet, not more than 3 of the individual values are outside the limit of 85 to 115%, means if 3 tablet, these are outside the 85 to 115%, and if it is less than 75 to 125%, then we can say it will accept. So that is what is which is given here, and none is outside the limit 75 to 125% of the average weight. So that we can say that the what is that one? That is the content uniformity is accepted, or it will passes the content uniformity test. So all these are the official tests. Then come to the disintegration. Now, as far as disintegration is concerned, the tablet that will must go into the solution, right? So disintegration, it is the particular stage which will determine the dissolution rate and to form the solution. So the tablet that will be having the low dissolution rate, that will go slowly, but if the tablet that will get disintegrated, it will undergo the moderate dissolution rate, and disaggregation that will lead to the disaggregation of the particle, which will lead to the faster dissolution rate, so that it will faster goes into the solution, which ultimately leads to the process of absorption. So tablet disintegration is what? The breakup of the tablet or disintegration, that is must, right? The disintegration test is a measure of the time required under a given set of conditions for a group of tablet to disintegrate into particles which will pass through the 10 meshes screen. The disintegration test is a measure of the time required under given set of conditions. Again, this is most important. What are the conditions, right, for a group of tablets to disintegrate? into the particles which will pass through the 10 mesh screen. Through the 10 mesh screen they has to pass. Useful as a quality assurance tool. The disintegration test, it is useful as a quality assurance tool for the conventional dosage form. You can see this is the disintegration apparatus. The disintegration test apparatus is carried out using the disintegration tester. There are type 1 and type 2, type A, type B, with a slight differences, which will consist of a basket rack holding these 6 plastic tube. You can see this is the basket rack which will hold the 6 different tubes. 1, 2, 3 from this side, 1, 2, 3 another side. Vary in the inner diameter in type A and type B. Type A and type B, they will differ only into the inner diameter. These are open at the top, at the bottom, and the bottom of the tube that is covered by the 10 mesh screen. So at the bottom there is a 10 mesh screen which is placed, and it will consist of a disk. The disk onto this screen, the tablet has to be placed. Onto the tablet, the disk has to be placed. Discovery diary on the tablet top. The basket is immersed in a bath of suitable liquid held at 37 degrees Celsius. This beaker, which is of the size of 1 liter capacity, which will contain the liquid, generally the water, and whose temperature will be 37 degrees Celsius, preferably a 1 liter beaker, either water or the simulated gastric fluid that is to be used in order to perform the disintegration test. You can see this is the diagrammatic representation for the disintegration test apparatus. So this is the tube 1, 2, 3. This is the vertical section view. You can see here there is a mesh, that is the 10 mesh screen. This is the tablet. This is the plastic disc which is placed over onto above the tablet. This is why this tablet disc is placed plastic disc, because when it will move into the up and downward direction, it will give impact which is simulated like that of the in vivo system. And these are the glass tubes. You can see 1, 2, 3. Again, the 3 are there from that side. This is the beaker with the 1000 ml capacity, and here this is the media, either simulated media or it is the water, and the pressure temperature which is to be maintained is the 37 degrees Celsius. Now this basket that will move into the upward and downward direction with a distance of 5 to 5.5 centimeter, and the stroke that will be 30 strokes per minute. So these are the dimensions associated with this basket rack assembly with these tubes. So you can see the diameter. Again, all these specifications are most important. What are the specifications for the disc? What are the specifications for the top view? This is the top view of the disc. This is the side view, and you can see this is the top view, side view, and the bottom view. And you should know all these particular values. These are also asked into the GPAT examinations. So you should thorough with all these. You should go on drawing these again and again. Then and then only you will become well versed in the details of all these concerns. So this particular line, that is the one dotted and one continuous line, one dot and continuous line, that will indicate there is a central line. So equal half are there onto both the sides. That means this is the symmetrical line. So how to perform the process of disintegration? We need to place one tablet each into the 6 tubes of the basket, add a disc. Then we need to add a disc. Operate the apparatus using the water or the specified medium as the immersion fluid, and the temperature is the 37 degree plus or minus 2 degrees Celsius. At the end of the time limit specified in the monograph, lift the basket from the fluid and observe the tablet. We need to remove the basket. All the tablets have disintegrated completely. No tablet should remain into the basket once the disintegration test that is to be performed. Now suppose if one or two tablet, they will fail to disintegrate completely. If they will remain intact as such, what we need to do? We cannot say that it will fail, but we need to go for repetition of the test by taking additional 12 tablets. The requirement is met if not fewer than the 16 of the total 18 tablet tested are disintegrated. Now onto this 12 additional tablet, that means 12 plus previous 6, the total will be 18 tablet. Now out of 18 tablet, if the 16 tablet they will get completely disintegrated, then we can say that the tablet that will passes the test for the disintegration. Now here are the acceptance criteria and the specifications as per the monograph for different types of tablet. Let's say for example, if the tablet is uncoated one, how much time it should take to disintegrate? For uncoated tablet, it should get disintegrated within 15 minutes. If the tablet is of coated type, and in that if it is a film coated one, maximum time it should take 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes it should go on disintegrating. If it is other coated tablet, then it should take 60 minutes. In case of enteric coated tablet, depending on to the medium that we are using, the time that will differ. Let's say for example, if we are using 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid, then the tablet should not disintegrate in a 120 minutes, because enteric coated tablet these are targeted to work, targeted to perform their action into the intestine. So in order to reach into the intestine, it requires at least 2 hours after taking it. Right. So for 2 hours, for 120 minutes, it should not disintegrate. And if we are using the phosphate buffer of pH 6.8, then in such a medium, it should not disintegrate within 60 minutes. So if it is the dispersible and the soluble tablet, then it should be disintegrate within the 3 minutes, because these are the faster dissolving tablet. We are Disprin, we are adding it into the water. Within 3 minutes, it will get disintegrated. It will goes into the solution. Effervescent tablet, very incorrect. When it will come in contact with that of the water, there is interaction between the aspartic acid, tartaric acid, and the NaHCO3. So that will lead to the release of the carbon dioxide, and this release carbon dioxide that will act as a disintegrating agent for the process of dissolution. So effervescent tablet, they should not take more than 5 minutes in order to go into the solution. Now there is another test which is set with the mechanical strength. Now because of